Sir. Yes, sir.
We love to hear it.
Every episode with the yes, sir. Give this guy a dab up. We're not even going to do the intro. I just want to dab him up.
Oh,
Look at this sexy beast right here.
New fresh cut.
Fresh
Fresh
cut.
cut, man. Fresh kit.
What?
Welcome back to episode 9 of the Unfiltered podcast. We're your hosts, René,
Ethan.
and we got the beautiful boy next to us.
Xavier Lawrence.
What's
The
going
man
on, people?
himself.
What's going on? I'm glad you guys got me back. My first episode,
Yes,
you
we
know,
flopped with that. It's okay. It'll
it went into the abyss, but
It was like a really good episode too.
It was
really
fire.
unfortunate.
We covered
Yeah.
so much.
it's unfortunate you'll never see it, but it was.
It'll
really good.
be in the intro whenever that gets made.
Oh,
We'll
okay,
have-
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
have
There's gonna be
certain
like a clip
segments.
of you.
We
yeah.
all had our blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the blonde
true.
hair isn't lost for good.
Yes.
You know, for those of you who
exactly.
know us, you know, we
You know.
had it going on. What do you think about the setup?
I love your guys'
What do you think about the improvements?
It looks. You guys look way more legit than you originally were.
Yeah.
You know, we were originally in like the kitchen.
Yeah.
Now we got like the light set up. You know,
It's like the lighting is
happening for you
amazing.
guys. Yeah.
That's what's up.
No, it looks really, really good, and I like what you guys are doing with it.
Thank you.
Super happy to have you back on. Super happy to keep chatting.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, I was telling Ethan we could talk about money or relationships. We were going a different direction, but we'll definitely have you on for relationships because I know you're that guy.
Okay,
I know you're that guy.
you guys can have me on the relationship pod. I'd love to be a part of
Mr.
That'd be a lot
Relationship
of fun.
Guru. There we
that.
go.
Something like that.
You know, what'd be really
something
cool
like
is
that.
if we did like 3 different people in one episode.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And had them like cycle through, like come up, like let's have you come up now and like have people just chilling and
We could do because we were thinking right with our setup. We got some couches in the background. Obviously, you guys can't see that, but we've got the couch there. We got the table there.
Yeah.
We were thinking we could have maybe like a kind of live audience one day. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Like
Oh,
a
yeah.
meet and greet with
not a meet and greet. Don't call it meet and greet.
a Q&A.
A Q&A.
Right?
Oh,
Live
Oh, that
Q&A.
would be
Live
that'd be sick as
Q&A.
well.
That would be
Yes.
amazing. Yeah, that's a great idea.
We've got so many plans here in the basement studio. We got
Nothing
the
but time.
setup.
Nothing but time, right?
Nothing but time.
Nothing
Yeah.
but time.
That's what's up.
All right. Tell them what we're talking about today.
Take it away. Take it away.
All right, so today we're gonna let me tell you all the story.
Here we go.
the
Little
inspiration.
context.
Yes.
So
Little context.
yesterday, Xavier and I were out, and we had to go to Save On, and we were in the checkout, and they have like the magazines and shit, and I saw a Star Wars one, and obviously huge fan of Star Wars, so it attracted me.
Of course.
So I picked it up, and I was just looking through it, and I was like, who the fuck thought of all this shit? Like, it's just so complex. It's just out of this world. Like, who just one day woke up and thought of that, right? For Star Wars fans, it's
For real.
absolutely extraordinary.
Just sitting there. Oh my God! Imagine if a sword was made out of lasers.
And just like in a galaxy far, far away, like in the 70s, like how did you,
For real.
like what drugs were you off?
Look at the Millennium Falcon. George Lucas, if you ever watch this, we want to know, bro.
And
Yeah.
there was like a autobiography on him too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was saying how he was like a race car driver, and he just had like a pretty normal life,
Yeah.
right? So like, it's just amazing, right? So I kind of want to dive into what kind of mind it takes to be able to come up with that stuff, right? The creativity that it takes,
Yeah.
and also like the guts that it takes, do something that out of the box.
Let me steal your point from there, because I've been thinking about this for quite a while actually. Before we even came up with a concept for this episode, literally like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, one thing people don't realize is that imagination is so important.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I feel like in the world that we live in, the times that we live in, we'll have to tackle the educational system one day as well. It just kind of kills that imagination. Like, you have it from being a kid, but when you start growing up, you start advancing in maybe your grade levels at school or in the things that you do in real life, you kind of lose touch of that imagination.
Mm-hmm.
For myself, I know you guys are super imaginative people as well. I feel like we're all pretty well grounded, and we still have that side of ourselves, because there's never a dull moment. Where there's always something in our brains that we can find excitement for. There's always a scenario we can create.
Spark.
Always a spark, always a situation. We kind of make the best out of everything. But people who don't have imagination kind of lose that. They lose that ability.
Well, I think people that don't have imagination take everything too seriously.
Yeah, that as well.
Right? Like they kind of just live life right on the line,
Yeah.
right? There's no outside the box. It's just the
Right through.
box. You know what I
Right
mean?
through, yeah.
And there's no room for outside paths. It's this path or no path.
That's why I was telling you the other day too, like this studio, everything that we're doing, everything that we think we're gonna do in the future and that we will do is because of that imagination.
Yeah.
No,
You know?
that's a really good point. You guys had like a vision
Exactly.
of what you wanted your setup to almost look like, right?
Yeah.
And that's could be completely different from the vision that you had in your head, the vision that you had in your head, and then you guys kind of met in the middle.
Like collectively, it all came together, right?
Yes.
Like Renee and I, we both wanted something, right? We both
Yep.
had the collective idea, the podcast itself,
Mhm.
you know, being on Spotify, right? The entire idea,
All of the
and
above,
this
really.
is what it's come to so far, right?
Yeah.
And that's just through allowing your mind to wander, and then finding someone that wants to wander with you, right?
Yeah.
And that wants to work and chip away and create with you.
Like without imagination, like you said, you can't create vision. You don't have goals. You don't have ambitions. You're just kind of, I wouldn't say people get content with what they have or just like conform in a sense, but it's almost like they don't have the capacity to think,
Yeah.
you know?
You made a point about school killing imagination.
Yeah, that too.
What is something that you think is like the problem with the schooling system that destroys the imagination?
Well, without getting too far into
Yeah.
it, right? Because that's a tough
It's
one.
a very tough question.
It's because I'm a firm believer in school. Like I don't think the educational system is completely useless, right?
Yes.
Like I'm not extreme that way, but I also think in a lot of ways, like teachers, they don't make you do it. I guess it's the government more so. Whoever comes up with the curriculum.
Yeah.
They make you write down specific things. They make you learn in a specific way. For some people that doesn't work,
Yeah.
so they need to find an alternative method, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, right, like you're told you need to write the essay in this way. You know, your creative writing is sort of limited. I know even in grade 10, I was in English honors, and thank God for that teacher because she let me do creative writing, and it actually gave me 100%,
Yeah.
right? But not every teacher does that. Every teacher tells you, you need to do essay this in this way. You need to write paragraph like this, a paragraph like that. You know, scenarios where that's the reality, I feel like it really limits the imagination because you almost want to do it the way the teacher's presenting it to you at that point, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yes. I think like to piggyback off of kind of education destroying creativity is a lot of the times if a teacher's been doing something for X amount of years.
Yeah.
When I was in ed, we have like a curriculum that you have to follow, right? You go
Right,
to the
because
Alberta
you
thing.
took that. Yeah.
And you look at the thing, and then from there, the teacher can get creative
Mm-hmm.
and do something. But sometimes, if you're making say a lesson plan for the classroom,
Yeah.
and that goes through, and then the students are saying, well, hey, what did so-and-so do to get an A? Because that's what they want.
Yeah.
You show them that, and then that takes away their creative filter because they're trying to copy what you gave an A to,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's the issue. They give you a ceiling, and you can't go above that ceiling, right? They give you the standard, right? What needs to be achieved, and anything outside of that, like I said, the separate roads, those are unacceptable in the eyes of the school system.
That's exactly it too, right? Like a lot of students are so focused on getting that A. You know what I mean? Like I was that kid too.
Yep.
Because I loved my 100%. I loved my 90s, right? But in order to achieve that, you almost have to do everything by the book. You know, there are some people who are gifted enough that they don't need to do that and they still get the good grades to do that. For me, that wasn't always the case. I had some moments. A lot of people didn't have those moments at all.
Yeah.
Right? But it streamlines your way of thinking. It makes you do what everyone else is doing. Like you said, how did this student get an A? How did this person get an A in the example? Those kinds of things.
And then you look at that and you almost want to do
Exactly.
verbatim what
word for word, right? You
Yeah.
look at the template.
Not even word
right?
for word. I'd say
And
copy the structure.
The
you know what I
structure
mean?
is
Well,
what it
yeah, the word for word of the structure,
Yeah.
right? And you look at that, the example, right?
Mhm.
And it kills all of your ideas, right?
Yeah.
Because you want to do what is going to get you the best grade.
That's what I'm saying.
And the worst thing about that is with some teachers, they will grade you on what they believe as well, right?
Yep.
There's
had
a
lots
lot
of
of
English
teachers like
teachers.
they're out there.
Yeah, well, in grade 10, right, I had a terrible English teacher, and she killed my creative fuse, like absolutely killed it. Grade 9, I had an amazing English teacher. He helped it grow. Grade 11 and grade 12, same thing. But in grade 10, I was just told, like, all of my ideas were bad, you know, like this was bad, that was bad, the structure's bad, and it just, like, made me feel like garbage. Having someone that can look through different lenses and support people's ideas, right, and not only say this way or no way, those people are the ones that can help the most people to achieve their goals. Because everyone, like you said, everyone thinks different. Everyone has different ideas. Everyone has different creative lenses. So having a teacher, which is a person that's supposed to help you get your abilities to a higher level, higher standard, those people need to be able to look through your lens and think how you think.
I want to know what you think about that, though, Xavier, because I totally forgot that you did ed, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think about all of that? Kind of, this is how we see it, right, without having taken any actual courses for it.
Yeah. I think the cool thing about education, and it's changing from what it was.
It's evolving for sure.
In the past, right? Now, one of the analogies that one of my teachers used is, you know, originally in the school system, imagine like there's a train. You jump on the platform, and it takes you to the next station. A lot of kids miss that initial jump. But the train's still moving. They get left behind. Now it's almost like you're in a circle, and they'll go back to different things. So a lot of the people that I've gone to school with have come up with like their own creative lesson plans, and it allows a little bit more freedom. So, for example, if I was teaching grade 3 curriculum, it might be structured a little different from yourself if you were to teach it, right? And that allows somebody to be creative. I think the problem with education is a lot of people that are in it have always excelled in education, right? And that's what you run into. If I, since kindergarten, have been consistently hitting it out of the park, and I love ed, maybe I can't take a moment to realize that, you know, little Lucy doesn't learn the same way as me. Right?
That's a really good
They have a learning disability, and I can't see it. It's like, oh, that should be so easy for you, but it's not for them. Right? And they're smart, and they're intelligent in their own way. Right? It might not be book. It might be the creativity part, the creativity aspect, right? She might be able to draw. She might have, like, these visions or, like, these worlds that she's created, right? And that's not even helping her in this aspect.
I definitely agree with you. And like, I'm glad we're speaking about the school perspective, actually, because I think that's where imagination starts for a lot of kids too, right? Because you meet your friends at school, you know, maybe you find out about certain shows at school. When you're a little kid, right, you're like, oh, superheroes or whatever, maybe the initial thing, right? And so that's where imagination starts, is at school. You know, they teach you initially to use your imagination, but I think that kind of dies off eventually later down the line.
I think the best thing about school is it allows people to come collectively into a place and then learn, right? I think more learning happens outside of the classroom than actually in the classroom. How to play with others, how to cooperate, right?
Social skills.
Social skills are so important. Like,
well, there's lots of book smart kids that have no street smarts, right? And they don't have social skills. And without social skills in this world, you're not really going to make it that far. To be completely honest with you, you're not going to make it far.
Social skills is so important.
So, getting off of the ed thing, what do you think is like the most creative outlet? Do you think it's like writing, television, movies?
I think it's whatever you're most attuned to.
Okay.
Whatever you like the best. Like, I can say I love writing, and this is something I actually do. I love writing. I don't do it. I always think about doing it, and I've done it a few times when I'm bored. Just writing things out, making stories. You know, if you ask my mom, she will talk your lip off about that all day. How I used to even write rough drafts upon rough drafts when I was like 5.
Yeah.
About so many different things. So for me, writing is a super good creative thing for me because my brain just thinks that way too. I can make this into a story, or I could see a scenario with this.
Yeah.
But for other people, that's not what creativity is. That's not what where imagination leads them. For a lot of people, it's music.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, they like expressing themselves through music. So you see a bunch of artists these days. I always reference Kendrick Lamar, for example. He's had a bunch of struggles in his life, and he's chosen to voice that through music.
Yep.
That's where his imagination took him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So it kind of just depends on the person, really.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Well, like for me, as a kid, I'd always build things.
Yeah.
I guess you could kind of call it architecture in a way. I'd always like to design things and like out of like cardboard boxes, just like random stuff that I would just find in the garage, in the house all the time. And my grandma would always help me build whatever I wanted. She'd be like, what do you want to build? And I would draw it out, make what I wanted, and then we would do that, right? We'd replicate what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I always had like different sets, right? Lego is an endless imaginative toy, right? You can do anything with Lego.
Yes, you can.
And I used to go take the instructions and just build it, obviously, with the instructions, and then just go my own way and do whatever I wanted with it.
Yeah.
And then we also had like a marble set, right? So you put the marble on the top, and you can build your route. You can build it however you want it to go. So I'd always play with that as well.
Yeah.
And that really just develops the different skills of the different routes that you can take, right? And that's how I express myself. And then nowadays, I definitely say through music, and then just through like my own personal things like this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right? Just
Taking
like projects.
Creativity can be found anywhere.
It really can
Yeah.
be. Yeah.
What do you guys think separates the people that continue to allow the fire to burn and the ones that allow it to extinguish?
Well, firstly, I'm going to speak real quick about that. Is that jumping back to the other example real quick, from what you were saying, like now they're making the system where some teachers, they have like the general outline.
Yep.
But then they can kind of mold it to their liking.
Yes.
I think it's really important to have a person, that promotes your imagination rather than kill it, right?
Definitely.
Rather say, this is amazing than this is garbage, scrap that idea entirely, do it this way. I think that's a good separation mark there, where the people who have those kind of people in their life, will always have that ability to use that imagination, to use their creativity, get creative with it. Whereas the people who have been continuously getting shut down, that's all they know, right? Is that rejection. They think that their ideas are garbage when they're not. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that's a very interesting point. I think
Very true.
like a lot of teachers probably, to no fault of their own, in the past have probably shot down those ideas because they're not creative enough to realize that that's a good concept, and it's more work, right?
Yeah.
How am I supposed to grade somebody on something when it's completely out of the box?
Yeah.
So it's almost, it's like a two-parted problem, right?
Yeah.
It's like the teacher doesn't know how to properly assess the situation and give a fair or accurate mark for somebody's hard work. And then it's a lot of work for them to want to do that. But that could definitely be something that could discourage people.
Yeah.
I think you have to, in almost anything in life, have some pretty thick skin and be a trailblazer, right?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be doors shut in your face at every corner, right? But you have to be able to push through,
surpass that,
and say, okay, yeah, maybe it's a no here, but what can I do? Work on myself to make that a yes.
Well,
down
just
the
because
road.
one
like how you
person
pointed that
says
out.
that
exactly
your idea is bad does not mean that your idea is bad.
exactly
Right? Like one person, just like you said, they might not have that creative lens,
yeah
Yes.
right? But another person will,
mm-hmm.
and then they'll be able to help you develop the idea.
exactly.
Like if I would have given this idea to any random person off the street, they wouldn't have been passionate about it. They wouldn't have seen the vision.
They would have just been like, nah.
They would have been like, that sounds like a waste of time.
Exactly.
But if we don't see the same finish line,
mm-hmm.
then there's no
No, I
There's-
100% hear you.
I always like coming back to you have to give it a shot. You have to try it out before you
Yeah.
completely like don't knock it till you try it, right?
Yeah,
You
definitely.
have to give it a shot before you can deem it either productive or garbage, you know?
I do. I definitely do know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you have to surround yourself by people that are encouraging your ideas and that you can express some ideas to freely, and then you can take like some of their perspective and be like, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, that's the best thing about
idea.
creativity is that you
Right?
can take other people's ideas.
And you fold it in and
Yeah.
you bake
Mm.
something and
Yeah.
throw
It's
it
just
right
like
in
the
the
different
It can
lenses.
take
You
you-
can collect a whole bunch of different lenses, right? Different viewpoints on life, different viewpoints on
Man.
different areas, right?
It can take
Instead
you
of
so
having
far.
a circle, you can have a bunch of indents, right?
Mhm. It can take you so far.
Yes, it definitely can.
I like what you were saying earlier when we were just chatting before Xavier got here.
Mm.
That the idea that so when somebody has an idea, they create something, right? Using their
Yeah.
imagination, using their creativity.
Yes.
Well, that's why they're
And
called
it's
creators.
Completely out of the box. Like you were saying, if we brought that up to anybody, they'd be like, no, that's not going to work. We don't agree with you. But if it's successful, then they change their tune. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? They're like, that was super smart of you. Good on you for doing that.
It is kind of funny. You know, like Uber, for example,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure that
Dude.
guy probably was like, hey, I have an idea. I'll have random civilians drive people around town,
Anybody
right?
can be a cat.
And they
taxi
can,
driver.
yeah. And people are probably like, no, that's like,
Dude,
that's so
if
dumb.
you, I'm sure
But
if
then-
you said that to my parents in like 07, they would have looked at you like, what the fuck?
Yeah, right?
What is
but,
that?
But then it blows up and you're
Mm.
like, wow, that was actually such a great idea. And it was so simple.
Same with DoorDash. Like random
Yeah.
people
That's what I'm
bringing you your
saying.
food.
DoorDash,
That's what I'm
like
saying.
Skip, like
Same with Netflix.
all of those
Like,
ideas.
why,
are
like-
why would I not want to go to the Blockbuster?
yeah,
Right?
exactly. Oh, this is like I get out there with my family, but it's just so much more convenient.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like those ideas, I always say, man, I wish I thought of that.
Yes.
I wish I was of age to create that when it
Mhm.
happened too. Like I wish
Yeah.
I had
Yes.
those ideas. You know what I'm saying?
I do know. So
it's
sometimes I think,
crazy.
yeah,
Sometimes I think of those ideas and I'm like, there's got to be another idea that
there
I need to
is.
think of
there
before someone
is-
else does.
There is
Mm.
You
so
know what I
many
mean?
ideas. I think you almost have to work backwards. You have to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do people want,
Mm.
and how can I make that like most convenient and easy for them?
Yeah.
Or you need to find a problem
Yes.
and then find the solution for that problem.
Never miss an opportunity to talk about success.
no. That is what makes I think people just successful in general, right?
Yeah, solving problems.
You can
Problem
be
solvers.
a solution problem.
Imagination is literally the one-to-one road to success. That's the way I've always viewed it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like if you're not creative, if you're not imaginative, like imagine you had such good ideas, but you go, nah, nobody would care about this, and then someone else thinks of it the next day, and they're a millionaire all of a sudden.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? Like NFTs, for example.
Yeah.
Bro, who thought? I saw this TikTok of a guy who took a picture of his face every day for like a year, and now
Okay.
he's a multi-billionaire from NFTs because he made it into an NFT.
Ah.
I wish I thought of that.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
Like,
definitely.
damn. He literally just posted up in his bed, wherever he was in the day, just like that.
Yeah.
And
That's
he has
ridiculous.
millions.
That's ridiculous.
Right?
The thing is, like, whenever you think people are gonna hate it, most of the time people are not gonna hate it.
Mm.
Like every time you do something that's like weird or not to the norm, people usually are like, "Hey, like nice outfit," or I like your shoes," or
Mm.
like your hair looks good. Like dyeing our hair blonde, that was like out of the box.
Oh, for sure.
Right? That was like a huge change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everyone liked it.
I think a lot of the time people get discouraged because they think people care about what they do more than they actually do.
No one cares.
Yeah.
They really
so true.
don't. Like, you know when I emceed our banquet,
Yeah.
some of our teammates were like, "How could you do that? Like, how could you get up there, talk in front of all of these people? Like,
Hey man,
Are
picture
you-
them all with their clothes
are
off.
you like scared of like messing up?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna mess up.
Yeah.
You know, I'm human. I'm not perfect, and I'm not a public speaker. But you know what? At the end of the day, this is gonna be probably an afterthought for all of you guys an hour after.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
literally.
Even if I messed up somebody's name or a word throughout the script, gone.
Yeah.
They don't care.
They don't care.
You know what I mean? They're thinking about like themselves. Oh, am I going to win this award?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't win. Fuck. Right? Like that's really it.
So like always saying this on here, man. You just can't be scared of doing things either. In this episode's case, you can't be scared of using your imagination.
Yes.
You know, can't be scared to do things that are out of the box, that are outside the blue, because who cares what other people think, right?
Yeah.
You need to be comfortable enough within your own skin, within your own mind, to know that if something will work or not.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I
you
do.
just gotta send it, go for it.
The worst thing is like when people are afraid that their ideas aren't good,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and then they have people that shut them down, but that idea could have been the next thing.
It could have,
right? And
I'm sure there's thousands of that out there.
oh,
Yeah.
it's everywhere, bro. Like people that are afraid of other people's thoughts and opinions on them
Mm-hmm.
and their idea, when if they just put their head down and rammed through all the walls
Yeah.
and just got the job done and delivered the idea,
More successful. I think
more successful.
moral of the story is if you have an idea that you think is good,
Mm-hmm.
you know, take the chance on yourself because
Exactly.
you really have nothing to lose,
That's what I'm saying.
right?
Mhm.
I think like a lot of people that are, you know, on their deathbed, their biggest regret is not taking that risk,
not
right?
doing it.
Not
that's a
doing
great way to look
anything,
at it
Yeah.
too.
right? They're like, you know what? I just went and worked this job that I was miserable at for 40 years, and I didn't even give myself
Try
an
anything.
opportunity.
That's why I
Yeah.
don't really
to
care about
write.
like money all that much.
Yeah,
Cause it's like, dude, it's gonna come and go,
There's always
and I'm
gonna be
only
money.
gonna like live
Yeah.
once. So like, let's just do it
Let's just do it. Yeah, like
within reason.
well,
Yeah.
obviously you can't screw yourself over.
No, no,
right?
no.
Yeah, within reason, but like still,
Yeah.
you know.
Like you and I know when we were talking about even creating the podcast at first, we were like, you know what? If this flops, it flops. At the end of the day, you know, when we're both like 80, 90-year-old guys. Just
Remember when we
laying
did
in
the
their beds.
podcast?
Remember when we did that
Well,
podcast? We
it's
can say we
online
did
now
that.
too. Like,
Yeah.
it's something that, you know, when you guys are like married, you have kids and stuff
Mm.
like that. Like, you guys can go and reflect and be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that was the mindset I was in."
Yeah.
You know, 50
That's the
years
coolest
ago.
thing. This is all like scrapbooking. We're like
Yeah.
journaling our lives.
It
we
is.
are telling the people what we think,
Mm.
and then our future selves what we thought.
This is like in a sense immortalized even, right?
It is, yeah.
Like it's there. And I always think about in the future, if I'm ever like in the dumps or in a tough situation,
Yeah.
I can listen to our words of wisdom on the podcast one day. You know, if I'm
No, you guys
if
are
I'm
always
down,
dropping the knowledge, honestly.
You know, if I'm thinking something and I'm not in the right frame of mind,
Yeah,
you know, I can see my mindset how it was a few months ago,
totally.
kind of thing. You know,
Yeah.
and just bounce back and go, you know what? I was spitting facts. Let me get back to it, kind of
Yeah.
thing. Right?
No. I 110% hear what you're saying.
So many ways to go about it, man.
Mm-hmm.
And jumping back again,
All right.
creativity.
Let's do it.
Like, think about Steve Jobs.
Okay.
Can we put ourselves in Steve Jobs' shoes for like 2 seconds?
Yeah.
Like, imagine people who were born in the 80s. You tell them, yo, we're going to make a phone that you can touch, and there's a screen on it. It's made out of glass, and you can call people on it, and it's as thin as a coaster.
Mm-hmm.
They probably would have cursed you out of the room, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with this guy, kind of thing.
I,
Same thing we were saying from George Lucas.
Yeah, bro.
Have you guys? There's a book from Malcolm Gladwell. It's called Blink. All right. He's a Canadian author.
I
Okay.
think
And
I've actually heard of that.
He wrote about Steve Jobs and Microsoft guy
Bill Gates.
Bill Gates. Thank you.
Yeah.
So his whole book, I'm sure you guys have heard like this, the 10,000 hour rule.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah,
have heard
yeah,
about
Yeah,
that?
we talked about that
yeah,
episode
yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the 10,000 hour rule actually is Malcolm Gladwell's own like quote.
Yeah.
So he
yeah.
went back and he did research on like athletes, you know, Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, and he found that they spent 10,000 hours in their profession
Yeah.
before they created the next thing.
Yeah.
So like
Wow.
Steve Jobs grew up in like Silicon Valley.
yeah.
So he was around that industry, right?
Mm.
That is like what created all those like juices, right? He saw
Yeah.
and was able to work with all these creative people while he's a teenager.
Mm.
So then by the time he was in his career, he is like, oh my gosh, you know, I can take from all of these ideas and create something like the iPhone.
Yeah.
Bill Gates got lucky because when he was in high school, he he got like a computer punch card. So he was like one of the first people to be able to work on computers.
Oh,
Yes,
wow,
throughout
yeah,
his
yeah.
whole high school career. So by the time he was in university, he was like,
He was a pro.
I know all of it. He had his 10,000 hours, right? So I think, immersing yourself in an environment and allowing yourself to
soak in all the juices.
soak in all those juices and be
Yeah.
able to pull from other people
Mhm.
really creates.
We were kind of talking about that earlier too, the creative environment that you're
Yes,
in. That's
right.
kind of what uplifts you.
You
right?
are a product of your environment.
Absolutely.
In any case, whether or not
Without a
that's
doubt.
athletics,
Mhm.
creative, writing, you know what I mean? If like Ethan and I, we practice like
Yeah.
6 days a week, right? And we see each other like 5 days a week
Yeah.
to like do that. It's so much easier
Together.
when you're in that environment.
Yeah.
We were talking to one of our teammates that's coming on this year, and we're like, you have to immerse yourself in the experience or else you're not going to grow. And he's like, well, I'll do it on my own. It's like, yes, you can, but you're going to get so much farther if you're working with a team than if you're working with yourself.
Because everybody's on
That's
the same
so true.
thing. Everybody's on the same wavelength. Kind
They
of
Well,
are.
it's all the same mentality,
Yeah.
and you're all working together, right?
towards one common
like,
goal.
Right? Like
Mhm.
an army is stronger than one man.
Mhm.
It always will be because we
Mhm.
link arms and we crush all the walls together.
In that same regard, you're as strong as your weakest link.
Yes.
Right.
Mm.
Because if there's one guy that's not in the right frame, even if his environment is strong like that, if it's just that one guy, your chain snaps.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Gotta think about it of all those ways.
Well, like especially with our team, it's all like team scores.
Yeah.
So we
Mhm.
could have like first place, second place, third place, and then if we have one guy that's in 50th place,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that
Done.
That's tough. Yeah.
like
You're
our
done.
team
That's
rank will be like 6th place,
Mhm.
Yeah.
There you go.
just because of that one link, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
the way
hear
you
ya.
gotta think about it.
And it sucks.
It
But-
does. It does.
But then you help that guy, right?
yeah.
If
I
he
mean,
wants the
you-
help,
you
I
do
mean, you
what
can't
you
help
can.
somebody who doesn't want the help.
You
Right.
also, when it comes to athletics, there's like a certain skill set that you already need to have developed.
Yes.
But
Mm.
I mean, for the most part, yeah, obviously,
Athletics
you wanna
episode
reach
teaser.
out.
Yeah. All right.
Well,
Anything
yeah.
else you want to add?
Nah, I mean, creativity is something everybody needs. Everybody needs to hold close to themselves.
Don't let it slip.
To get far, you need to act like a kid. You need to keep being a kid.
Yeah.
I think
That's very true.
everybody is a kid trying to act mature. I don't believe in maturity personally.
Dude, I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I have a book at home, and it's like you like write in. It gives you like little prompts, and you write about them. It's called like Burn After Writing.
Yeah.
And one of
Oh,
them is
yeah.
like, at what age do you think you became an adult? And it's like, I still don't think I'm there
Yeah.
yet. You know what I mean?
Like I thought so hard about that. Like especially when I turned 18, I was like, wow, I'm an adult. I have to do adult things. Kind of separating myself from my old ways, kind of
Yeah.
thing. And the more I go about it, the more I started talking to more people, putting myself out there, networking. Just expanding my mind as a whole.
Yeah.
I just sat down with myself and realized like nobody's really,
Dude,
an adult.
that is so
No.
funny. The other day, I was
100%
thinking about
adult.
it. Where all like adults
Technically.
are just big kids.
Big babies.
You know what I mean? They're
Yeah.
just big children.
Especially, you get that too when you see like an adult is trying to act like an adult, especially when they have kids. Their kids grow up and now all of a sudden they're old. Now they're the ones who are being taken care of. It's almost
Mhm.
like they're back to being the kids that they were.
It's a huge cycle.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It all comes full circle.
Yeah, it does.
It's just the middle stage. A lot of people want to ignore it.
No, 100%.
You know?
To like your grandma, your mom is still her baby. You know what I
Oh.
mean?
Technically, yeah.
Well, like,
Well,
but
my mom always used to tell me, you'll always be my baby.
that's exactly
Yeah.
it. It's like when
My
the,
mom hugs me. She calls me my baby all the time.
yeah,
You know.
the day that you realize, like, yo, my parent is just another dude just trying to make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah.
oh wow.
a
But like
great
as a kid, you're
perspective.
like, oh, they're an adult. They
Mm.
they know
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
But
Well, the perspective
We
as a
don't.
kid, right? 'Cause
Yes.
You don't
Mm.
have all the different freedom,
Yeah.
right? So like once you become an adult, you're just a kid with more freedom.
Mm.
That's all it is, right? You have a car, you
Yeah.
have a house, you have money, you have a job.
You're expected
you
to
have more responsibilities.
all the responsibilities.
Yeah, that's all it is.
At the end of the day, you're just a kid with responsibilities. That doesn't make you an adult.
It doesn't, because I know a
100%.
lot of adults that are very irresponsible, right? They don't get their jobs done. They don't, stick to what needs to be done in their life.
Yeah.
They don't follow responsibilities. And that is what I believe is maturity, right? Someone that can be held accountable
Yes.
for their actions.
Yes. I can get behind that.
Right? That's maturity. I don't agree with when you said that you don't believe in maturity, because maturity is definitely something that you can see in someone, right? There was always mature kids when we were younger, and there's immature kids when we were younger.
No. I like, a lot of people say I'm super mature for my age. I get that all the time. Like, I get that point. I'm just saying, like, maturity in the sense where, I'm an adult now kind of thing. I have to stop thinking in certain kinds of ways, like I was saying, dissociate yourself with creativeness.
Okay, well, yes.
Don't be that guy.
No, well, that's exactly it. Maturity is not becoming an adult, right? You can be mature at 12. Maturity is understanding the accountability behind things. That's all it is.
I think he's saying, though, you don't want your
you don't want to lose
maturity
your inner kid.
to influence your creative side.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sometimes people will say, I got to grow up. I can't do this anymore. I can't start writing.
Yeah, that's stupid.
That's what
That's
is that what you're kind of saying?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's like, I'm an adult. I can't start writing a book now because I have responsibilities.
Yeah.
But it's like, you got to be
Just
an
make
adult, but you have to also make the choices to make some time for yourself
Make
to
the
do
time
that.
for it.
Yeah.
That's
very true.
I'm trying to start up a streaming career. For those of you who don't know, a little shout out to that. And sometimes I'm looking for people to network with or just, chat with.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a bunch of adults on there, like adults that are 30, over the age of 30.
Yeah.
And they're still trying to hustle, make their life out there.
Yeah.
And there are some of them that are even successful to right now.
Yeah.
Super big amounts of people that are in, like, the gaming industry, for example. That's a really good one. You're told all the time, once you're an adult, you cannot stick to doing this. You cannot do this game. You cannot play this game. It's too time consuming. You need to do this.
Well, that's according to, like, societal norms.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to what you want to do and something that you believe in, especially from a creative side, you can do that for as long as you want. Because I saw this post once, and it said, if you fail at 20, then start at 30. If you fail at 30, then start at 40. If you fail at 40, start at 50. So on and so forth. It's never too late to start.
Yeah.
As long as you don't believe and limit yourself, right?
Yeah.
You can never put a cap or a ceiling on starting something.
Yeah.
And you can never put a cap or a ceiling on your creativity. You can never tell yourself that's a bad idea. Because you need to experiment. You need to try it. Because we could have thought about this and been like, nah.
Yeah.
Right? We could have been like, nah, that's not going to work.
And we said that in episode 2, if we were surrounded by the same people that we had before,
yeah.
either past relationships or just friends.
Well, we wouldn't be where we are.
We wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah,
we
like
would,
relationships especially.
They would have said, no, that's stupid. Don't do that.
That's a waste of
your time.
Yeah.
But here we are.
It's a good thing you guys aren't in those relationships anymore.
Well, that's exactly
what
it
I'm
is.
saying.
Yeah.
You need people that are going to carry you and push you and, exactly what you guys said.
Yeah.
You need to be surrounded by
creative minds.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Exactly.
Episode 9.
All
Amazing.
right. Peace.
Thank you guys so much.